Hello everyone, this is Prashant, and in this video we're going to talk about illusions. So let's begin. So what are illusions? Well, before we start with illusions, we have to go and focus on constancy, the concept of constancy. Well, what is perceptual constancy? Well, it is the stability in our perception of an object, our overall judgment about object and its attribute, despite changing sensations or environmental conditions in which we view the object. So it is kind of a judgment like an object is what it is, despite changing its form of perception on us through our interaction with the object in our environment. Even if the object appears different, it is still the same thing, you know. So an object has three main attributes: shape, size, and color. And this is what we are going to focus on. So let's start with the shape constancy. So what is a shape constancy? Well, it is the shape of an object remains same despite change in our viewing angles of it. Like a door is of rectangular form despite its changing angle. Okay. Or and cube remains same despite its changing orientation in the space. Um okay. So that's pretty common. Like a cube is a cube despite the angle you look at it, despite the different angle you look at it from. Same with the door. Okay. That is the shape constancy. Like the shape of an object remains same. Uh, the next one is the size constancy. The size of an object remains same despite change in its distance from our position. So the car is of the same size despite it appearing smaller when it is further away. While what is happening is that our brain is calculating all the environmental cues, like that of linear perspective, and including that uh, to see if the car to calculate if the car is smaller or larger. Well, what happens is that as the car comes near us, it appears larger, but it our brain knows that it is of the same size, uh, uh, in reference to all the environmental cues that we have around us. So that's the basic thing. Okay. Now coming to the color constancy. Well, the color of an object remains same despite change in the lighting conditions. So here's the are few objects in white light, and when I turn it into orange, the object is still the same, the color is the same despite its change in hue or something like that. Okay. So yeah, illusion. Okay. So forms of perception that may lead to a faulty judgment about the attributes of an object. Well, sometimes uh, objects appear in a certain form, and those forms may be misleading. Well, why does that happen? Well, it is due to our concept of constancy. Well, our brain is primed in a certain way about how things work, how things are, how they appear, and we have learned it about through indefinite amounts of observations, and we come up to the concepts of constancy and cues, and they are automated basically. And what happens is that sometimes certain objects or cues are conflicting in nature. They appear as something, but when on further observation, they are not what they seem to be, quote unquote. So let's start with the prime example. Well, here's the conclusion that you should remember. Errors of inference from perception, whatever inference or judgment you form on your observation, they are corrected by more observation and inference. So new knowledge corrects the old one, but new knowledge is built upon the old one, basically. So let's see. A judgment normally would be that a pencil is bent in the water, but when I remove the pencil from the water, the pencil is straight. Now, on further studies of light, pencil, water, and the nature of all those things, I come up to the conclusion that through refraction, like the bending of the light waves in water, the pencil is appearing differently to me because it is reflected. The bented light waves are refracted in the water, and they are appearing into my eye as such that the pencil is bent, but it is not bent, basically. So I came up to the conclusion that pencil is appearing bent due to refraction. Meanwhile, the pencil is straight. So yeah. So the form of perception changes based on the environment you put it in. Okay. So illusion number one, moon illusion. Well, what is happening is that moon, when it is near horizon in its position, it appears as if it's larger, but it is of the same distance as any other day or any other night. So that's one illusion. The second illusion is Ponzo illusion. Well, due to the bent lines or diagonal lines, the line segments of the same length are appearing as such that one is larger and one is smaller. So the upper line segment appears longer. Similarly, the right line segments appear larger or longer. Okay, but both lines are equal. Let's go to the next illusion, that is Pog and drop illusion. What is happening is that there are three line segments and there is a wall between them. Okay, now most of the people will say that the lower line segment on the right uh, is not uh, straight or in parallel with the line, but the upper line segment on the right is what uh, is continuous form. Basically, it forms the continuous whole with the line segment on the upper left, basically. But when I remove the wall, what I found out that is that it is the lower line segment that is uh, on the line. Basically, it is connected to the above line. So what is happening is that uh, my mind is misinterpreting that the upper line segment is the one that is the continuous whole with the left line segment on the. So basically, this is what is happening. Okay, now come to the next illusion, that is horizontal vertical illusion. Now, what is happening is that the vertical line appears longer than the horizontal one, but both have same length. Now, Muller-Lyer illusion. Now, what is happening is that due to the arrows, one inverted and one outward, what is happening is that the line segment on the left is appearing smaller than the line segment on the right, but both are of same length. Okay. So there are few studies about how culture is affected or affects the perception of an object. So yeah, so we are going to study all the social or environmental cues or factors that are responsible for change in our perception or judgment. There are three studies: Hudson, Siegel, Nisbet. So let's go with each one. Pictorial cues. Okay, how different cultures respond to the same cue. Now, on the left is a picture of a man hunting either an elephant or an antelope. So, the Westerners form a judgment that hunter is aiming at the antelope, and Africans think that hunter is aiming at elephant, basically. Now, why is that? Because uh, individuals in Western civilization are more accustomed to converting 3D objects, yeah, into a 2D space. Meanwhile, Africans are not that much exposed to painting and stuff like that. That's why, based on all the cues, uh, it appears as if the elephant is behind the hunter and the hunter is on the same plane as the antelope. That's why the hunter is hunting the antelope, uh, in contrast to the elephant. So that's why Westerners form the judgment that the hunter is aiming his spear at the antelope. Okay. The next study we have is about geometrical illusion, and it focuses on how different cultures respond to same geometrical illusions. We have two basic illusions: Muller and horizontal, a vertical illusion, and Westerners are more susceptible to uh, Muller illusion. Meanwhile, Africans are more susceptible to vertical horizontal illusion. Why is that? Well, maybe because Westerners have more buildings that have more corners and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the Africans don't have that amount of buildings and they have round huts. So that's why they're such susceptible to Muller-Lyer illusion. Are not susceptible to Muller-Lyer illusion. Westerners are more susceptible. That's the basic reason. Anyway, so let's move forward. Figure ground. Okay, based on figure ground, like how different cultures respond to the same scene, which is first, which is behind, which parts of a whole picture is given more attention, basically. So there is a video clip. Uh, of an aquarium where different objects are there, like stone, grass, fishes, and frog and snail. And they are shown the play clip where everything is moving. And it was done on types of students, American and Japanese. And what was found that was that the Americans focused more on the foreground or the moving objects, so they are more analytical in nature. Meanwhile, the Japanese focused more on the background objects as well as foreground objects, so they are more holistic. They take whole picture into the mind. So that's the basic. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's the end of it. That was the topic on constancy and illusion. And in the next, I'm going to focus on gestalt perception, and after that, I'm going to focus on perceptual styles. So, yeah, thanks for watching.